We got new shots of the Bronco Warthog running around town testing. We have the new Mustang Mach 1 threatening the GT500. Ford is eliminating the Performance Pack Level 2 from the Mustang GT. Guys, we got a lot to talk about today, so let's get started. If you are new here, I'm Kevin. Thanks for tuning in. Let's start with Ford eliminating the Performance Package Level 2 from the Mustang GT. Normally that would give you the wire tires, a whole better handling package, but they're eliminating that altogether for next year because they say there's too much overlap from other models such as the GT350, the Bullet, and of course the PP2 equipped Mustang GT. Now the new Mach 1 rolls in, and that's just one more model that's going to be involved in that overlap. And they're saying, long story short, I'm going to cut right to the chase, if they continue with the PP2 package, that it would cut sales from the Mach 1. I can see why that would be a concern, because the PP2 package is essentially an upgraded handling package. Again, much wider tires, and you can opt for the MagnaRide system. You also get larger Brembo brakes with a 6-piston caliber up front, extra chassis bracing, additional cooling systems, aerodynamics. You get a torsion limited differential, not to mention 305 with Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 summer tires, active exhaust system, and when it's all said and done, you've taken your plain Jane Mustang into a car that can handle with almost a GT350. But that's where the concern from Ford comes in. With the PP2 package, which is a $6,500 package, the performance of the car really gets leveled up quite a bit, and it does start to creep up on the performance enhancing of the Mach 1. So Ford was a little concerned that the GT PP2 package would take sales away from the Mach 1, and then people would look at the Mach 1 as if it were just strictly an appearance package. So you add a couple stripes and some decals, and you add a different front splitter, and you got a Mach 1. But I really like that the PP2 was available. It really took the GT to a whole new level. I'm very kind of disappointed that they're taking it away. I understand why, but losing that is kind of disappointing. But I know if I were in the market for one, that package would definitely interest me. So now if you want one, you're going to have to go to the used market, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Now let's jump into the Mach 1. We were just talking about the sales on it. So they're saying that the Mach 1 could threaten GT500 owners when it comes to track use. Now we all know the GT350 is done with after this year, and the Mach 1 is kind of, I don't want to say it's a replacement, but essentially it's replacing it in the lineup. They're also saying that the Mach 1's handling capabilities would keep up with and be right on the heels of the new GT500 on the track. Now they did not state that it was going to be the track pack variation of the GT500, which I can't imagine it would even possibly remotely keep up with that. But the base model GT500, they're saying it would be right on the heels of. Now that's still a pretty tall order. The GT500 has proven even in base trim to handle extraordinarily well, and now they're saying the Mach 1 is going to be right on its heels. Now Ford brand manager Jim Owens stated that, and I quote, "On a short road course, the Mach 1 will be very, very close to the GT500. Now, once you get to the longer stuff, that's different. You have a supercharged 5.2 liter that will gain the advantage. But on a short course, it'll be within a spitting distance of the GT500. Now, he sounds pretty confident that the Mach 1 is going to handle just as good as the GT500. Again, in corners, it doesn't have the straight line power to keep up with the GT500 in the long straightaways, but turn for turn, it's going to be right on its bumper. Now that's actually pretty exciting news to find out that we're going to have a car that handles that good, and essentially as good as the outgoing GT350. Now that is because the Mach 1 is getting a lot of components from the PP2 package that Ford is eliminating from the Mustang GT, such as the Brembo brakes. It's also getting adjustable ABS tuning, it's getting a retuned steering rack, larger radiators, unique stability control tuning, and of course the MagnaRide system. Now the Mach 1 will have a starting price at just a little over $51,000. That does not include the track pack or anything else like that with the components in which I just mentioned. So I'm sure that price tag is going to creep up to probably just under $60,000. Maybe it will hit $60,000. I don't know. But that's where we're at with the Mach 1. We're going to have to wait and see what the track pack and everything costs. But it sounds like a very promising track weapon, if you're comfortable with dishing out that kind of money. Keeping in mind, the base model GT500 does come in starting at $70,000. All in all, this is definitely something I'm very interested in, so I'm going to keep an eye out on all the new information coming out for the Mach 1 and where it's going to stand in the lineup, especially with costs and options. Alright, now let's talk about that Bronco Warthog that's been spied running around testing. Thanks to Bronco 6G Forum, who's always been right on all the Bronco news. We have some great photos of the Warthog, which is confirmed now, depending on who you want to talk to. But even in the pictures, it is confirmed on the inner wheel well that it's written Warthog shock cover. So I guess you could say that is your confirmation. This is definitely being called a Warthog. Now, also in that picture, let's just go right into that picture since we're already there. So they're covering up the shocks. They don't want you to know what it's going to be. I'm guessing it's going to be the Fox shocks, much like what's on the Raptor. It is sitting on BFG all-terrain tires in 315/70/17s. Now, if you look at the other photos of the Warthog, you can see that it is much wider than the other Broncos. Even the Sasquatch package, which I think this is even wider than that, it sits higher. There's a lot more room for suspension travel. But the suspension travel and the capabilities of the Raptor are going to be here tied into this Bronco package. So, obviously that's why we have the extra wheel well gap, the more space there for travel, and we just need to figure out what's under the hood, because we still don't know if we're going to continue getting the 2.3 and 2.7. Now I'm guessing the 2.7 is probably going to be the standard engine for this particular package. I have no confirmation on that. That's strictly just my opinion. We'll have to wait and see, because there is only one tailpipe. So I don't suspect that we're going to get a V8 still. It's not going to happen as of right now. So I would suspect, again, possibly the 2.7 or maybe the 3-liter from the Explorer ST. Now there is a ton of wrapping and covering on this, so we don't know of any body changes other than the visual aspect of the wider flares and fenders. So what's going on in the front end, I'm not 100% sure. The headlights look the same. The doors look a little bit of the same. So I'm sure there's probably not going to be a huge variation outside of the fenders. But it is pretty exciting to see that the Warthog is out. We were begging for a Bronco Raptor when all this started. Now we have the Warthog being tested. I can't wait to see this out from under the covering and in all its glory. That's going to be absolutely awesome. Now, one thing that Ford is changing up on the Bronco, not necessarily the Warthog itself, but do you remember the donut doors we saw in a lot of photos, whether it be the concept and things like that? When the Bronco came out, you had what looked to be the factory door with a big hole in it. We're calling that the donut door. Well, that door is not going to be sold. They scratched that off the board. That's not going to be an option anymore. But the tube doors are. So you can get the tube doors on the Bronco, but you're not going to be able to get that donut door. Ford decided they weren't going to do that. That wasn't going to be an option. So it did look cool. I thought that, that would be pretty awesome, but apparently that was just going to be for the concept, and they had considered it, but they're going to scrub that. We're not going to actually get that one anymore. So if you want something like that, you got to go with the tube doors. Alright, so now I need you to leave your comments down below on what you think of everything we talked about today. The Mach 1, the Mustang Performance Pack Level 2 being eliminated from the GT lineup, the Warthog being confirmed, the spy shots. I want to know it all. Drop your comments down there. Don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next upload.